Hello and welcome to Aconyte Games with Friends. Today we are looking at case 3 of the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, the mystified murderess. I think I put it as the mysterious, but it's mystified murderess. And we have a very full house today. Lots of people come in to help us, which means we're definitely going to solve this crime before Sherlock does. We've been getting better and better with each case, so I feel this is the one. This is the one where we beat Sherlock. For anyone who's new watching, hi, I'm Anjuli, Aconyte Books Marketing and Publicity Manager. That's what I do, those things. Ness, who are you?
I am Ness. I am Aconyte's administrator, so all the paperwork that goes on behind the scenes.
Megan, welcome back.
Hello, hey. I'm Megan. I write fiction and I have stories in the Keyforge anthology.
Including a lovely tree.
All right. I'm Nick. I'm Aconyte's publishing coordinator. I make the insides and the outsides of the books look pretty, and some other stuff behind the scenes that no one should know about. Secrets.
I'm Richard. I write fantasy and horror. My first Aconyte book is The Head of Mimer, a Marvel Legends of Asgard novel.
I'm Marc. I'm Aconyte's founder, publisher, and general boss, it seems.
I'm Robbie. I'm a sci-fi fantasy author. For Aconyte, I've written The Doom of Fallowhearth and First Team. I'm not Sherlock, but I have stolen his hat.
I'm very jealous of the hat. Right, so this is the third case, and in this case, we've not been given as much information as in the other ones. Obviously, they know that we're getting way better at this game, and therefore have not handed us much information. We know that a man called Guy Clarendon is dead. He has been murdered at the Hallidays Hotel in London. We know that a Miss Frances Nolan has been charged with the murder. She is currently being detained in the Old Bailey. This information was brought to us by Gerard Locke, who is Miss Nolan's fiance. Miss Nolan is currently being charged because she was discovered with a pistol in her hand standing over the dead body. But she insists that she is innocent. And so, where would we like to start our investigation?
Crime scene?
I think we've learned previously that not going to the crime scene first is a terrible idea.
Yeah, it took us about 8 leads last time to go there.
Crime scene, let's go.
So that is Halliday's Hotel. Where is
I've got my
Halliday's
can
Hotel?
of luminol.
Don't we need to investigate the body first?
So yeah, we can. So the body will be in the directory. The body will probably have gone to the morgue, which is at the end of one of these. The rules book. There we go. So,
Yes, because since the good lady was found standing over the dude with a gun, that seems kind of like a classic misdirection.
Well, Mr. Holmes didn't seem to think that she did it, so perhaps we should.
So we can go see Sir Jasper Meeks at the St. Bartholomew Hospital because he performs all of the autopsies. We can go to Halliday's Hotel, which is where said murder happened, or we can go to the Old Bailey, Scotland Yard. No, wait.
We have a little vote. Who wants to go to the morgue?
I
But
do
two-
not first.
Who wants to go to the scene of the crime, the Halliday?
Yay!
And who wants to
I
go
feel
to
like
the
the body will still be there.
The body might still be there. This is right. So where's the Halliday Hotel? So is that Halliday
It is.
Hotel?
15
Okay.
SW.
15 SW. Okay. Okay. We leave the manager's office at Halliday's private hotel, knowing little more than we did when we entered.
No.
He is too upset over the police quarantine of the Clarendon's room to be of any much help to us. Fortunately, the day clerk is a much less excitable fellow. The gentleman registered under the name of Clarence Guy on the 29th of May. He was given a front room on the 3rd floor. 2 days later, he asked to be moved to suite 205. During his stay, he had only 2 visitors that I am aware of. One was a most disagreeable chap. He was very large, had a thick walrus moustache and a prominent scar down his cheek. He arrived on the 1st of June, the very day of Mr. Guy's, that is Mr. Clarendon's, move. He simply came in, sat down in the lobby and waited. I kept an eye on him, but I must admit, I was reluctant to ask him his business. 20 minutes or so later, Mr. Clarendon came down from his room. As he passed, the big man yanked him aside. I'm sure I detected fear on Mr. Clarendon's face. And I was about to send one of the boys for Bobby when Mr. Clarendon signed me that all was well. After a few minutes of conversation, they left together. I never saw the man again. His other visitor, who came by quite frequently, was a very striking woman. She was very fashionably dressed and she had the most distinctive laugh, very full and deep. I have no idea who she was. We asked about the morning of July the 2nd. It was 9 o'clock when a woman entered. She was rather plain looking and I would not have noticed her but for the fact that she came in the front door, looking neither left nor right, and proceeded directly to the staircase. Normally, non-residents are not allowed to pass without first stopping at the desk, but I was on my way to intercept the woman when I was buttonholed by Mr. Ramsey. He's a guest of long residence and a chronic complainer. He would not let me go. It couldn't have been 30 seconds later when there was a woman's scream. I dashed up the stairs to the 2nd floor where the hallway was full of inquisitive guests. They directed my attention to room 205 and said they'd heard a faint bang before the scream. There I found the body of Mr. Clarendon and the aforementioned woman. She was lying in a swoon in the centre of the room with a smoking pistol in her hand. I revived her with some whiskey that I found in the room. When she came to, she was completely disorientated. She had no idea where she was or what she had done. When she saw Clarendon's body, she gave out a small cry and let go of her pistol as if it were red hot. I took her to a nearby vacant room and had the police summoned. At our request, the clerk calls a sleepy bellboy to show us the suite. On our way to the room, we discover that the lad has just shifted to the day duty after working nights. Inquiring further, we learn that the front doors are locked at 10 p.m, so that any guest or visitor must be let in by the night staff. Clarendon, leading a most exemplary life, was always in the rooms before 10. The constable on guard lets us into the 2-room suite and oversees our tour. The sitting room walls are papered in a subdued floral pattern. The ceiling is covered with yellow plaster. The constable indicates the entryway to the bedroom as the place where the body was found. There is some blood on the carpet still. A large stain has apparently been made by spilled contents of a shattered wine glass that is lying nearby. In the centre of the sitting room, some 15 feet away, are small flecks of yellow plaster. A search of the sitting room yields nothing much in the way of personal effects. In the top desk drawer, however, we find a folded bank statement from Cox's. It says, Mr. Guy Clarence, on June 1st, he had a withdrawal of £5,000. On June 16th and 18th, he deposited £2,000 and £500 respectively. We wander into the bedroom. In the closet, there are but 2 shirts and 3 pairs of shoes. One of them a pair of canvas fencing shoes that have been dyed black. In the dresser, there is an unusual assortment of underwear and shirts. Loosely tossed into the top drawer is a black wool sweater and a black pair of trousers. Not much of a view, comments Wiggins, looking out of the open bedroom window. The brick wall of the building across the alley is dreary indeed. Even the ivy vines which wind up the trellises and cover the back wall of the Hallidays are dusty and cheerless. Getting into the corridor of the hotel, a maid is being lectured by a man with a scathing and nasty attitude who lets out a wave of reproaches. And you should know, miss, that I will talk about it with the manager. Such an offhandedness in a first-class establishment is totally unacceptable. Yes, Mr. Ramsey, very well, Mr. Ramsey. We slip away.
So it sounds like this dude is the cat burglar then, since he's got lovely black clothes and can nip in and out of his bedroom at night.
Yeah, so there is obviously an article in the newspaper today about a cat burglar at large.
Oh.
Society burglar who's stolen a tiara from Lady Leeds in the last couple of days.
Okay.
They're also suggesting that such persons of a burglarish nature be flogged as a punishment, which is exciting. So it's good to see the Tories are still present and haven't really changed.
Oh, sad. Yes. Okay. So possible cat burglar is Guy Clarendon. Because he has lots of black clothes. That makes him very
But not so much though about the murder stuff, other than so you things like plaster flecks being all over the floor, which I guess if we then go and see the body, we'd expect to see on the body. Otherwise, we might think that they were perhaps killed somewhere else and moved.
Yes.
If we want to link it all together.
Yes, there's a little bit of blood, but it's mainly wine.
Were there 2 glasses?
It didn't say, it just said it from a nearby glass.
Okay.
So the large stain has apparently been made by the spilled contents of a shattered wine glass lying nearby. So only one, it looks like.
God, what kind of mad criminal breaks a wine glass instead of killing someone? That's awful. No respect.
The big medicine guy, maybe a Confederate who didn't get his cut.
Yeah. He's
That
that's
is around,
suspicious that
isn't
he immediately moved room afterwards. Don't want him coming and finding me again. Very suspicious.
Mr. Ramsey, loud dude.
Alas, the index of people in the directory doesn't rank them by size or description, which is a real shame.
We are looking for the angry person.
That'd be a great phone directory.
So, what do we want to do now? So that was our first lead. Tick off lead number 1.
Do we want to go and see the body, see if we can get any evidence of it?
Sure.
Yeah. So we're going to go to the head medical examiner at St. Bartholomew's Hospital, which is 38 EC. Is that one I have to hand? EC.
So we better jog alongside, I think.
Well, we're Lovable Street Starfish, the Baker Street Irregulars.
Yeah, urchins can teleport. It's fine.
Well, we all all lovable Cockney urchins, for goodness sake.
God blimey, Governor.
Can I have some more?
Jock, of course. The hat thief, Jock.
Right, okay. So at Mark's, Sir Jasper Meeks tells us that Clarendon was shot at very close range with a small caliber pistol. I received the body at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I would judge that he had been dead anywhere from 4 to 10 hours. That's all he tells us.
No, disappointing. I did notice in the newspaper there was something about lots of guns being sold second-hand. So I wonder if that would make it harder or easier to trace such a weapon. It's already been flogged, or if there's a good trade in second-hand sporting guns.
Yeah. And also, they don't have ballistics things at this particular moment in time.
That's true.
They're still measuring criminals by the space between their eyes.
The physiognomy produced some very good results. We'll hear nothing against these modern marvels.
What was that about 4 to 10 hours?
Yeah, so he said so they received the body at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and judged that he'd been dead between 4 and 10 hours.
Okay.
Did anyone make out the time?
Yeah. What time was he shot? Or what time did they?
Yeah, SW.
The time for
Okay. So about 9 o'clock, a woman entered. It could have been more than 30 seconds later that there was a woman's scream. So around 9 a.m. is when she screamed.
That's right on the cusp of that time zone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yes. So 9 a.m. is when the body was found.
So it's about 9 a.m. when the woman entered and screamed. Yeah. And was found with the smoking gun. So
If the
hearing a bang, was that at the same time or was that another time?
just upstairs. Said that, so guests said that they heard a faint bang just before the scream.
So that was probably her collapsing rather than the gun going off.
It was before a scream, possibly not.
Oh, it was before.
They heard a faint bang before the scream.
Was that just kicking the door open?
Glass falling over? If the glass fell.
Doesn't sound like a bang.
I was going to say, if there's wine on the floor, it could have been the bottle.
Yeah, did she whack him in the bottle?
The glass.
How many shots were in Clarendon? Do we know how many bullets?
So it doesn't actually. So he didn't say. Just shot at close range.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we're positing
very close range.
If we're positing that the lady arrested is not the murderess, could she still have fired the gun and shot the wine glass by mistake?
Ooh. That's it.
Don't know. Just
Yeah.
following, trying to work out why the wine glass is in pieces.
Well, it might be wise to go talk to her next at the Old Bailey and see what her story is.
Are we agreed?
Yeah,
that makes sense. We're in dire need of more information.
Quick, play our Getting Across London music. Must be some of the Dick Barton kind of music, surely.
Quick to 36 EC.
I'm not sure if it's Scotland Yard we need to go to, or if there is just a criminal court.
Old Bailey, apparently she's big into, which is
36
Covent
EC.
Garden Gov.
36 EC. On one of these, we couldn't work out where we need to go, so Nick Google mapped it. Not in the rules.
Use all the tools that you have at your fingertips.
Right.
Like Sherlock, who just uses an iPhone.
Right, okay. So, our interview with Edward Hall is very short. He knows little of the Clarendon murder, but with his connections, he is able to arrange an interview with Frances Nolan. Confined in a drab holding cell at the criminal court Old Bailey, she is the picture of misery. Her eyes, her most attractive feature in an otherwise plain face, always describe women in such a way, hold a great deal of confusion and disbelief at her present situation. I don't remember anything except seeing Guy's body across the floor and the pistol in my hand. I screamed. I must have fainted. I didn't even know he was at Halliday's, and I'd never been there before. Why would I shoot him? We loved each other. We planned on getting married next year. His father promised that we would get to the Church of Canterbury for our wedding. Wiggins goes to calm her down. Now let's take it one step at a time. What is the last thing you remember before the room at Halliday's? Going to bed the night before. On Sunday evenings, Dr. Triviana, I can't pronounce that. Doctor something or another, tree man. Divine dines with us at my home. My sister Laureate is under his care, and his weekly meetings involve her progress. The doctor and I have been friends over the years, but he left about 10 o'clock. At 11, my maid Grace prepared a cup of cocoa for me. I drank it and read in bed for a short time. Then I went to sleep. How long have you known Guy Clarendon? I first met him at the country estate of Cornelius Oldwine in March. There was a party of some sort, and my sister climbed a 15-foot fountain and dived in. She caught pneumonia, and I had to go fetch her home. Guy was at the estate. And he immediately began paying court to you? Oh no, in fact, he didn't even seem to notice me. I was quite surprised some weeks later when he came knocking. It was a lovely afternoon, May 10th. He apologised for his impertinence at coming without an appointment and asked permission to come back again later. We began seeing a good deal of each other, went for carriage rides, picnic lunches. He declared his love for me and asked for my hand in marriage. How were your provisions concerning yours and your sister's inheritance in case of, let's say, in case of incapacitation? Oh, I'm the legal guardian of Loretta. In case something happens to me, our solicitor, Hiram Davenport, will manage our affairs, as it was when we were children. How do you explain your present at Halliday's? I can't. It's just like the other times. You've had previous occurrences of memory loss? Yes, twice in the past 2 weeks. The first time I found myself sitting on a bench in Hyde Park. The second time occurred just a few days later. I was going to Lambeth Walk to get some information concerning a house where my sister and I were planning to stay for 2 weeks on a vacation away from the city. That was the last thing I remember until I woke up at Waterloo Station. I consulted my doctor, Dr. Mason, and he was quite puzzled. He prescribed rest. Where did you acquire the pistol? I've never seen it before, even though the police assured me that it was mine. Okay, one last question. What is Gerald Locke to you? Oh, Jerry is a dear, dear friend. I'm afraid we've had a falling out of late. He says some very unkind words about Guy. Edward Hall catches up to us on our way out. He tells us that he asked Wilfred Robarts to take Miss Nolan's case. He's young, but he's already gained quite a reputation. Mark my words, he'll be knighted someday.
Well, that's interesting. I know there's a mesmerist in town, which seems to match up quite nicely with memory loss and not doing things that you don't really understand.
She's been hypnotized.
Perfect excuse.
Perfect excuse. How long has it been in town?
Rated mesmerist. Okay.
I was totally going to go for poison in the hot cocoa because chocolate is excellent at hiding poison, but that doesn't explain walking around and doing other things.
Damn it.
Maybe not poison the drug.
We can poison someone, I'm sure.
How long has the mesmerist been in town?
Don't know. He's Milo de Meyer. He's a celebrated magnetist who's hanging out at the Olympia and prepared to magnetize any lady or gentleman from the audience. So he sounds awfully handy for this sort of thing.
Mm.
And who's this Dr. Trevelyan?
Trevelyan, that's the one, thank you.
So he's a doctor treating her sister.
Yeah, who has pneumonia.
Sounds suspicious, doesn't it? Plus this Davenport dude who's the lawyer who's looking after their estate and appears to have written wills that give each other power of attorney or whatever. It seems a bit suspicious.
Yeah. Well, doesn't the sister have some kind of mental problem in addition to the pneumonia? Or did I misunderstand?
It doesn't state. It states at some point she got pneumonia, but yeah, it does sound like this doctor is treating something else as well. But yeah, it doesn't.
Francis Nolan is the legal guardian of the sister, right? Which suggests to me that there's something chronically wrong with the sister.
Yeah.
Or she's just Britney Spears and is horribly tied up in this stuff.
Well, like her parents died in the bombing that she survived. That would not be cool for how old she is now.
A non-cool incident for a kid.
I would not be okay. Like, hello, I was riding in a carriage with my parents, and then they were not there, and I still was.
Surprise. Yes, I agree. It's not good.
Where to next?
Yes, I'm struggling to figure out which of these clues we should be like worth tracking down.
So we've got Davenport, who could be dodgy solicitor.
Yep.
We've got the doctor, who could have slipped something. We've got the mesmerist,
And then what about these guns? The S. Goff of Covent Garden. Covent Garden's just next door.
That is handy, isn't it? Where's the Olympia? Is that nearby?
Don't know where the Olympia is. Someone.
How come we don't have a gang of street urchins to run around and do some of this legwork for us?
I know. Our own gang.
Oh my god, can you imagine the tiny people they've got running?
SW.
SW.
63 SW.
Just looking.
Sounds further away than the gun chap.
Yeah, so there's no. That seems a bit far, doesn't it, for that to have been done easily?
Is that a wild supposition? Just because this bloke's selling guns.
Yeah, so he's there. Where are we now? East.
I wish we could identify the big guy that threatened Clarendon. That would.
Oh, that was a Mr. Ramsey.
Aha! I didn't realize we knew
Who
who
I
he
told
was.
you, Shane. Yeah,
Damn it!
What now?
Mr. Ramsey. I think.
No, the Mr. Ramsey was the longtime guest who always complains, right?
I thought they were one and the same.
Oh no, I thought
No.
there was a stranger was a big guy that came and threatened Clarendon.
Yeah.
Then after that,
In
came
the
through.
at the end. I thought you meant threaten the.
Yeah, you're right. We didn't get a name for him. No.
Or the woman who visited him often.
Yeah.
Who has a distinctive laugh. There's no laugh mentioned for Francis Nolan, was there?
No.
No, she came later, and I thought that woman might be her sister, but it sounds like her sister is much younger. But she's still a kid.
Do we know that?
No, maybe.
Possibly need to, if we meet her and she's got the most distinctive laugh, there's obviously something going on there.
That would be handy.
It's time we split up, I think.
I think at this point we just find anybody and pin it on them, and then justice is done.
The way of Holmes.
Or foreign, preferably.
Yes,
Well,
it has always
there
been
are-
the French Russians.
Yeah, there's an Italian circus in town. I think they're perfect.
That's it. That is it.
And it is Sherlock
Right.
Holmes. It's always a bloody circus.
So where are we going to go? We can go see Davenport. We can go see the doctor. We can go to the gun place. We've done 3 leads so far. So this will be our 4th lead.
I'm a bit curious about the doctor, following Richard's supposition that the other sister may be mentally unwell, but how much of that is just bullshit, and is that in itself just an angle that someone else is playing to get the money out of them?
We go to the doctor. See what this dude's all about. Yeah.
I vote for doctor, but I'm not too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also just happy grabbing someone in the street and putting a gun in their hand.
There's an option for that.
Okay.
I'm also
the
quite
doctor
curious about how
is-
this ties up with the other crimes.
Yes. Yeah, because they are all meant to have like a link to them. Maybe
True,
it's
'cause
like
it's-
background burglaries. Because the secondary questions are always about the burglaries and things that no one knows about.
Yeah.
So maybe actually at the end it's like, what was all the information you found out about the burglaries? Like, none.
Because there's the dead cabbie thing as well, isn't there? The
Yeah.
Roman coins left in the bag, which is one of the other cases that Sherlock was more interested in than solving this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, if he's doing that one, why are we rushing on this one?
Cool, because he's gonna do both of them. He'll solve them both some miraculous way. They'll be intertwined and we won't even have realised. Okay, the doctor is an athletic-looking man And everything about him, his movements and gestures, is very precise. His eyes are piercing and vivacious and seem to read the depths of your soul. You know, why
100% he's
a
the
woman's
killer.
eyes are just dead. It's a very nice description. It is ever so slightly disturbing. He drops himself into a chair behind his desk, fiddles with his pocket watch, and asks us how he can help. We understand that you dined with Francis Nolan on the evening of July the 1st. Yes, that is correct. We dine every Sunday. Her sister Loretta has been under my care for some 10 years, first at the Mesmer Braid Institute and then in private practice. I met with Miss Francis weekly to keep her informed of her sister's progress. Let me say that it is difficult to believe that Miss Francis committed this deed. She has a quiet, unassuming personality. One might describe her, a bit unkindly, as mousy. An act of such direct confrontation would not be at all in keeping with her character. Are she and her sister close? They lead very different and separate lives. Miss Francis lives a quiet life, while Miss Loretta's is a wild and flamboyant one. Francis stays at home. Loretta never misses a party. Their individual laughs illustrate their differences. Francis is timid and no more than a titter. Loretta's laugh is deep and resounding, totally uninhibited. For her part, Miss Francis loves and cares for her sister as a parent would a child. Miss Loretta, well, she often seeks refuge with her sister and loves her as much as she is capable of love. Thank you, Doctor. The end.
As much as she is capable of love. Wow.
Maybe, yeah, they're saying that she is just, yeah.
Okay, so Clarendon's visitor was the younger sister.
Yep. Sounds good. And also, the Doctor's been using mesmerism to treat one or both of the sisters the whole way through. This sounds like a plot between the Doctor and the sister to me.
If Loretta kills Francis, who presently has control of the family money, then she would get control of the family money, right?
Yep. And I'm sure the Doctor will get some share of that.
Yeah, well, if she gets hanged for murder, similarly.
Yep. That sounds
And
pretty
the doctor can testify that she's capable of managing her own affairs now, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she lets go out and party. I think she's not that mentally incompetent to begin with. I'd say, have you assumed it's mental impairment? Maybe that's just an assumption that I've made from her being horrified. It's not clear what she's being treated for, is it?
No, it isn't clear at all.
Yeah, over
Is it for
all these
feminine
years.
Maybe she's just got hysteria. That was
the wonderful wandering womb.
So humans are
using mesmerism to treat her.
Yeah,
sounds like some kind of emotional or traumatic thing.
She's in the directory. Do we want to go visit her, or is there someplace else that would be better to go?
might be worth talking to her. We're on 4 leads now. So.
I know.
Well, it says about her laugh. It says about her laugh, so she's definitely visited at some point.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is instantly a little bit suspicious because Clarendon's kind of a dick anyway, isn't he?
What about this friend that tried to warn Francis off Clarendon? Do we know his name?
Gerald Locke.
That Gerald Locke is that's her friend that she had a falling out with. He's the one that brought the case to Sherlock.
Yeah, is he available? Is he available for us to talk to?
How much of a special friend is Mr. Locke?
He claimed to be her suitor, so
Yeah.
also, but he also wouldn't frame her for murder. Like, that does him no good.
Well, I was thinking what he would maybe have insight into her relationship
in the
with
directory.
her sister and all this stuff.
Yeah, could
Both
do.
him and Loretta are in the directory. 34 West central.
I mean, yeah, unless he's some kind of nutter who's setting the whole thing up just so that he can get a date, which is a bit creepy, but not wholly implausible.
Well, apparently he's a longtime friend, though, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he
But
says
he's never been able to get to second base.
I'm not sure he would have more information than he already gave us, though. Like, he was
Yeah.
trying to be really helpful.
That's true. We got a lot from him.
Okay.
I think the sister is who we need to go to, because if she's described as very fashionable, we've been told that she likes to party a lot, it would suggest she likes to spend her money. If she knows that she could get money by framing her sister, that would make a reasonable motive.
Yeah, and especially if she also thinks that she might be in love with Guy Clarendon, and he's like, "Yeah, bring me," because he did deposit some, take some monies out and deposit some monies in the last end of the month, end of June.
Well, that fits with him being the cat burglar, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's also true. That's true. I forgot about that. Bit.
The cat burglaries.
A lot of jewelry being robbed. Is the big guy going to be a fence for jewelry or something?
Well, maybe.
Could be. Yeah, I think Richard was supposing it was perhaps one of his confederates.
I think maybe somebody that told him what place he ought to rob, where there was good stuff to steal, and then how to get in.
Well, Loretta will be finding that out, won't she, by going to all these fancy parties that are going to be in lovely establishment houses. She's neck deep in society, so she's basically casing all the joints, coming back and telling Guy where everything is to go and get it. But on the other hand, if Guy's getting all the money already, then it seems like a weird extra thing for Loretta to then frame her sister just to get the rest of the cash. I don't, unless Loretta's like the mastermind behind the whole thing.
I'm not entirely sure that the burglaries are just about money either, because all 7 of them, they had one specific piece of jewelry stolen and not everything else. If you were just trying to get rich, you would like take the jewelry box instead of a bracelet or a necklace. So I don't think they're just about cash.
Is it some like thrill seeking, do you think?
Maybe, or maybe like at a party, oh, I like that bracelet, and he goes and robs it for Loretta. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like they're just trying to make money off of it. Thrill seeking could be a reason there, or really targeted revenge. Or I don't know.
No, I like that. I think that makes more sense.
So where are we going?
It sounds like we're going to go and arrest Loretta, doesn't it? For something.
Anything.
Yeah, let's go and offer her a glass of wine and see if she takes it.
Okay, Loretta, 21 Southwest. So, a man dressed as if he has stepped from the pages of the Tales of Arabian Nights, with a curved scimitar and all, bars our entrance to Loretta Nolan's home. Only when it is established that we are not tradesmen collecting for goods or services that we are allowed to pass. We enter the parlour to find Miss Loretta reclining on large silk pillows, clad in a costume similar to that of her servant. That is, she's in a man's Arabian costume. To add to the motif, long swatches of brightly coloured materials are draped about the room on red cords. By appearances, we might have entered a pasha's tent. Enter and be recognised, she commands, lifting her head from the hookah on which she is puffing. It must be our look of total disbelief that causes her to break out in deep, unrestrained laughter. When we do not respond, it's set perhaps to shift from foot to foot to indicate our discomfort. Her laugh abruptly dies and her mouth pauses in a pout. Oh, you do not wish to play? Well, very well. She is suddenly on her feet and flying around the room, whisking away the cloth, plopping down in a chair that was hidden by the materials, and tells us to state our business. You do not seem at all upset by Mr. Clarendon's death and your sister's arrest. She takes a long moment to answer, staring off into nothingness. Oh, Guy, it was fun to be with. My sister, she is just an innocent among the lions. Before we can ask, she rises and calls her butler. I believe I will be going out this evening, Randall. And she sweeps off out the room, leaving us standing alone.
Oh, she's very irritating. Mm. Doesn't seem that bothered about Guy.
No.
Striking lack of concern.
Yeah, well, he doesn't seem that bothered about Francis either, being in.
But that might also be her thing, because the doctor said as much as she is able to love. So it may be that, like, actually it's an emotional thing. She can't connect with people emotionally.
Just your average serial killer.
She's like a serial killer. Yeah. Also, I just noticed the doctor lives right next door to her. Like, we literally just had to knock on the next door. It was number 19 and number 21.
Well, that's not weird at all.
Yeah.
So where are we? What's our current theory for this ghastly set
So
of
we
crimes?
still have Davenport, the solicitor, who may or may not be swindling money. We've spoken to the doctor. We've spoken to Loretta. Guy is dead, but could be cat burglar. We know there was
See if there's another burglary.
We'd have to wait longer than a week. We had one on June 17th, and then the 7th wasn't until July 1st. There was this big gap in the burglaries.
That's interesting. Was someone not available during that time?
What was stolen on the 17th? Did you say it was the 17th?
Oh, the the audio recording said that we had 6 burglaries from June 2nd to June 17th, so fairly concentrated. And then a gap to the 7th, which was on July 1st. So we go from June 17th to July 1st.
Yeah, you're right. They're in the newspaper, aren't they?
2nd, 5th, 8th, 11th, 15th June across 2 weeks.
Okay, so
and then nothing for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There was deposit on the 16th, so the day after one, and then deposit on the 18th, the day after the other.
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
So yeah, so
5,000 before that.
That could be for almost anything, but I feel like we've got the burglar down, but not necessarily the murderer.
Also, the money he's depositing is less than the withdrawal that he's taking out, so it's like he's not making. If he had 5,000 to take out, he's not making at the beginning.
He's a gambler and general scumbag, isn't he? So he's probably got loads of gambling debts and stuff.
Yeah, but he's taking jewelry and he's depositing cash. So somewhere in there, there's a guy that's fencing jewelry.
That's where I was going with that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Unfortunately, jewelry fences are not in the above bar.
Kind of direction.
I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm like, I can't see any of this. Oh wait, I'm looking at June's.
It's just a shame we don't have a direct lead to the big guy with the scar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the big guy with the scar is the lawyer. That would be great.
That might be our best. Like, we have the name of the last person who was stolen from, but he was out at the time, so I don't know that there would be anything there.
We could visit the gun shop and see if they know who came and bought the gun, but that seems a bit tangential. I don't know.
Yeah, if the police are saying that they definitely know it's her gun, maybe they've already got those records.
Well, was there anything rare or unique about the gun? I don't think so, was it?
They just said it was a small caliber pistol.
Yeah, so I mean, they're
small caliber, which I guess implies like a lady's gun at this time, rather than a big Magnum she might rock around with. So I guess that fits, but I don't know how common it is for people to generally own guns and wander around the streets in London at this time. I'm not sure. They didn't seem particularly upset about the idea that she'd have a gun.
Have we got any other leads other than the gun guy?
I think it's just the lawyer, isn't it?
Yeah, the solicitor and
This Trevelyan dude.
We spoke to him just now.
we spoke to the doctor.
Oh, that was him, wasn't it? Yeah.
Trevelyan,
No, that
yeah.
was Dr. Mason, wasn't it?
No,
No, it's Trevelyan.
Mixed up between Richard
19SW.
Aha.
That's the one I went to anyway. That's the one I assumed because it was the one in chat.
I say we go to the gun guy in the absence of anything else.
Okay, where is the guy?
Give me a sec.
That's S. Goff, 28 King Street, Covent Garden. I don't know what number that is on the magical A to Z.
It'll be under gunsmith.
Yeah, 28 WC. Esgoff.
28 WC. 28.
Yes.
I don't have a 28 in here.
That's inconvenient.
I got a 22 and a 29 WC.
It's all part of the mystery.
That's
You've got the
incredibly
paperwork.
helpful. So
Yes,
that's
S.
a
Goff,
non-existent.
28. It definitely says 28 WC.
29 is not golf, and neither is that one.
That's odd.
Maybe it means that we just can't go to it, this one, and that we shouldn't go to.
I guess not.
It might be in
Unless that's the deeper mystery, that there's a secret gun shop that does or doesn't exist. Oh my God, we found a conspiracy.
It's on the map.
Yeah, so the map is for like all the cases, all 10 of them. So it may be that we can go to it in a different case. I'll just double check that it's not been misprinted.
They're secretly arming the Italian circus.
So, and shipping them out through the circus. Yeah.
Where did the murder take place? Which hotel was it?
Halliday,
Holiday.
Southwest. Again, very close to Loretta's house and the doctor, which is 19 and 21 Southwest.
The only other person I think of talking to, though it's not linked to the murder directly, is the previous victim of the burglars, which is Lady Leeds. That's the only other person I've got written down in my notes, because she was sufficiently freaked out by the burglary to be still in hospital, I think, which is interesting.
I also just noticed, not that it might be relevant, but the large disagreeable chap showed up on June 1st, and the first robbery was June 2nd. It happened the day after he arrived.
So it's probably.
So presumably he could have been demanding more robberies take place.
Yeah.
Or for them to take place at all. That's when the first one happened.
Right.
So the large chap shows up, the next day we have a robbery. But then they stop for a period, and I don't know why.
Well, I mean, are we assuming that the cat burglar didn't want to commit cat burglaries and this guy had to force him?
Yeah,
Because
that's possible, isn't it?
if he turned up on the 1st of June as well, that first withdrawal of 5,000 was then, so it could be that he's got nothing to do with it at all, and he was just roughing him up for the 5,000 that he needed.
Yeah. Well, don't we have the Clarendon was a losing gambler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he might be just someone who's come to collect debts. On that same day when he gets escorted out, he takes some money out.
We got the information about him being like a no-good gambler from Gerald Locke, who wants to be engaged to Miss Nolan and doesn't like him. I don't know that anyone else has said that, but I feel like it could be. But he's not partying at night. He's burglaring things. I guess he's partying with Miss Loretta. I don't know.
So yeah, the
there's a
only
lack of.
thing we have now is Davenport. We don't have the gunsmith. Doesn't exist in this one, or we just can't go there. It's going to give us no information, which is why it's not in there.
Okay.
I guess we're going to visit Devonport then.
Devon.
You've got no one else to talk to.
Are we going to go to, so if he's a solicitor, would we best go to his work or to his home? Because we've been caught out this way before. If I go to someone's home, they're like, it's at work.
There are a number of different Davenports, so we know which one it was. Sorry, it's Hiram, if it's the solicitor. And he only has one address, I think. It's 13 WC. He does have a home address as well. That's annoying.
Offices, I'd say.
I would think
Yeah.
So
13 WC.
WC. Okay. Wait. Go right. How do the numbers work? Okay. 13 WC. After waiting nearly 2 hours, we are finally shown into Harim Davenport's office. He apologizes for the delay with a somewhat suspect sincerity, and we take our seats and ask him questions. Yes, I am Francis' solicitor and Loretta's too, although I am less help in that direction since she came of age. So you handled their father's estate? That's correct. Their father left them equal shares in his 1/3 share of the Aberdeen Navigation Company. I administered that bequest in the form of a trust fund until each girl came of age. Since then, I've tried my best to advise them. With 1/6 of a share of Aberdeen Navigation Company, they must be very wealthy. Francis is, to be sure, but Loretta saw fit, much against my advice, I might add, to liquidate her stock. I'm afraid her financial situation is not all it could be. When was the last time you saw Miss Nolan? He seems lost in his thoughts for a moment. And he says, well, I met Miss Francis last month. She was in the company of Dr. How do I say it?
Trevelyan, I think.
Trevelyan. Okay, thank you. The doctor of Miss Loretta. Miss Francis wanted him to become her sister's guardian if anything were to happen to her. Miss Francis seemed absent-minded. Her eyes were staring off in the distance. I thought it odd at the time, but when I learned that she had blacked out later that day, I assumed that she had sunstroke. Would you describe the meeting? We were in the middle of our discussion when I was called away on some other important business. I begged their indulgence and stepped out of the office. I was gone, 20 minutes. When I got back, Miss Francis had a very strange look in her eyes. Said, thank you very much, nice to see you again, or something of that effect, and left.
Sorry, just to be clear, both of the women were present at that point, were they?
No, so it was just Miss Francis who was there. So just Francis Nolan. But she was with the doctor asking for him to become Loretta's guardian. And she had a strange look in her eyes.
Was it Loretta who liquidated her shares in the company? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Loretta's broke, needs the cash. All that seems to match up.
Loretta's broke. And the doctor is highly suspicious now. I think he's the one doing stuff to Francis.
Mm.
And since Loretta doesn't really care about people or doesn't form social attachment, shooting someone presumably is not that big a deal for her.
Yeah. And she also might not notice if her sister becomes vague and sort of. Yeah.
Well, I think she's having her sister hypnotized so that she goes and does the shooting, perhaps, or at least is there as a come with me to this lovely hotel. I'll shoot a dude, and you'll just stand there when I hand you the gun.
Because then Loretta would inherit her shares, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that seems
and the
likely.
doctor has access to them.
I have no further information. It's the only other place that we could conceivably go from my list is the Olympia to chat to the mesmerist, but that might be a bit.
Well, we know that Trevelyan is a mesmerist too.
But was he specifically a mesmerist, or was he just taking her to a place that did mesmerism?
No, he said he treated her with mesmeric treatment.
Okay, so
in
he
that
might.
case, yes, they need to do that. In that case, it's time to leap some conclusions, surely.
Excellent. My favourite part.
I don't feel there's something in the gap. There's a gap somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah.
I wonder if it was the big bloke.
The sisters have done a role switch. Sisters have done a role switch, and the one that's a bit scatty is the one that's actually the one that's ill, and they've swapped roles.
Oh, I like this. Yes, please expand. Mm.
It was loose. I was just kind of throwing ideas out.
No,
Okay.
no, I like that far more than the truth. If
So in this part, I ask the questions. I write down what you put down. Then I will mark them up and read what Sherlock Holmes says happens, and then we'll do a scoring based on that afterwards. Okay, question number 1. Who killed Guy Clarendon?
it's Loretta, isn't it? We think Loretta.
It could be the doctor. He could be doing it all by himself to like control where the inheritance money is, but she does also seem sketchy.
We don't have any evidence that the doctor actually went to the hotel, right? We do have evidence that Loretta went to the hotel.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's fair.
Everyone, shall we vote on Loretta?
Yep.
Hands up for Loretta.
She's
As
a
good
wrong
as up to as anything at this stage.
Okay, question
Standing
2.
at the gallows, hanging over Francis. We'd better move.
Why was he murdered?
The same
Well,
Francis.
that's a different question.
Is Loretta after
Yeah, I think.
stuff because she's got no money?
Maybe, yeah, he's just.
I think she's trying to frame her sister.
Further.
Yeah, it's because Loretta's fitting up Francis, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he was just collateral damage.
Yeah. Sister to gain monies. Okay, why did Francis Nolan go to Halliday's?
Because she was hypnotized.
Hypnotized. Everyone agree with that? That she was hypnotized to go there?
Yeah, why not?
Who was the society burglar?
Surely Mr. Guy Clarendon is square.
I think so.
Who is Calvin Leach?
We should guess he's the big angry man.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Or he's the unrelated tightrope walker.
Though, right?
The big guy is a tightrope walker.
Yeah. Oh my god. And was also the cabbie.
Who is dead?
Yep. He's all three of those people.
So big guy with scar / tight walker.
Yeah, I mean the name sounds like a scar-bearing person.
Okay, so they're the first questions that we go up against Holmes. Then these next 3 questions will gain us bonus points if we get them right. So I love it when these happen because we haven't even heard these things. Who killed Klaus Wallington and how?
Lead pipe in the drawing room.
Yeah.
No. I'm pretty sure he must have been the cabbie, knife in the back. So he was killed by a tightrope walker before he fell to his death because 30 years ago the cabbie betrayed him, and the tightrope walker therefore left Roman coins in a bag around his neck to point out the nature of his treason. And then he sadly slipped a couple of days later, not able to rejoice in his revenge.
I'm going to put it's complicated.
Did you get all that, Anjuli?
But I think you're right that it's the cabbie. It's not an Italian name. That's our best guess between the two.
Klaus is more of a German name.
Yeah.
A good taxi driver's name, I think.
In which neighbourhood did Kenwood Ollick work?
Hey, have you picked up the right page here?
Yeah, it's literally straight up. This always
It was
happens
like
in
this
the
last
second
time.
series. It's like,
Yeah, who the hell are these people?
Alec Malik, and you're like, who?
I think this guy was in London. I think that's his local area, London.
He was in the neighbourhood of London. The London neighbourhood.
Well, it's probably going to be one of them. Wasn't everything in the same place? Like Wasn't everything in Camden or something?
Covent
Garden, that's it.
Yeah, let's put Covent Garden. Let's guess it. How
fantasy.
did Kilgore manage to evade the police vigilance?
What's the fella's name again?
Kilgore.
What police vigilance?
Yeah, exactly.
Because the
I do
police were
hope they
wholly
explain
unaware of his
how all
existence.
these came into the picture.
Yeah, he normally does in some convoluted Holmes type way.
He owns a gun shop that no one can find.
He's the man who made the coins back in Rome and travelled through time to deliver them.
That's like a Doctor Who episode.
Okay,
Yes.
time
Very
travel.
confident.
So the answer is we're looking for is time travel. Possible
I'm glad
targets.
everyone's backing me up on that. That fills my heart with joy. Thanks, guys.
Okay, let me just mark the questions. Okay.
Sounds like Anjali's going to say 100% correct to me. That's just my intuition.
Plus bonuses, 200%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not.
You got this right than Sherlock.
And how many? We did it in 6 leads.
All of whom were really uninformative and unhelpful.
Okay.
Can we get extra points? Can we get points back for our witnesses being not very cooperative? Like, we're only urchins. It's not our fault.
Right, okay. Let's have a look at the solutions then. We are at 221B trying to sort out a solution when Holmes enters the apartment. His appearance is startling. His cap is gone, his trousers are spattered with mud, and his jacket is ripped. Even more disturbing is the stark look of defeat in his eyes, splash his grimy face with water. Holmes, says Watson softly, we're having a devil of a time with this case. Can you help us? Holmes stiffens, then after a moment lets out a long sigh. As he turns back to us, his features soften until a faint trace of a smile plays at the corners of his mouth. Of course, Watson, he says, matching Watson's subdued tones. How can I be of service to you? For the next 20 minutes, Watson acquaints Holmes with the facts of Guy Clarendon's murder by taking him on a verbal tour of all our visits around the city. When Watson is finished, Holmes takes the floor. Excellent, Watson. You have managed to solve 2 cases for Scotland Yard, though I doubt Lestrade will consider himself in your debt. I have, asked Watson. Yes, indeed. Clarendon is £7,000 in debt with the gambler Kilgore. So that's who Kilgore was. Unfortunately, he is out of pocket and his father's bad graces. Kilgore's confederate, the dangerous Gus Bollock, is seen hanging around Clarendon's home with the younger Clarendon being roughed up. To solve his problem, Clarendon turns to burglary. His victims are to be members of his own class, whose social comings and goings he knows well, and whose homes he has visited. He acquires a black sweater, black trousers, dyes a pair of canvas fencing shoes, and decides he needs a base of operations. He has a desire to secret himself away, and in this case, he chooses Halliday's. Clarendon arrives at Halliday's and takes a day to look the place over. Significantly, he switches rooms to one in the back part of the hotel, with a vine-covered trellis conveniently leading to the bedroom window. Now, on the 1st of June, Bullock, having discovered Clarendon's elegant hideaway, confronts him in the lobby. The £5,000 is withdrawn and makes its way to Kilgore against the debt. That evening, the society burglar strikes for the first time. Clarendon, Kilgore, and Calvich Leach are known traffickers in stolen goods and are all seen in company together. Notice, if you will, that 1/2 the value of the first 3 society fests amounts to £2,000, 1/2 of the value being the price normally paid to Leach for stolen goods, and equals the balance of Clarendon's debt to Kilgore. Debt-free, Clarendon is now in a position to make money on his own. On the day after each of the next 3 burglaries, Clarendon makes deposits. The pattern of the burglaries is obvious. Clarendon would pick a target, select the night, and contact Leach. That evening, he would enter Halliday's well before 10 o'clock in order to establish an alibi, change into his working clothes, and exit down the trellis. The burglary accomplished, he would return, change again, and meet with Leach. After that, he would deposit his take. The pattern was interrupted on the night of July 1st, the night of the theft of the diamond tiara. Loretta Nolan, a long-time accomplice of Clarendon in various nefarious misdeeds, was aware of the burglaries and quite probably took part in them. Her recognisable laugh revealed her presence at Halliday's. A short time after the fifth burglary, two thefts were planned. One, brought up by Clarendon and concerning the theft of the tiara. The other was planned by the doctor. Indeed, the good doctor who had been taking care of Loretta for years through hypnosis had also learned of the dark behaviour of Clarendon during a séance with his patient. He saw there the chance to get rid of a bothersome rival who risked getting his hands on Francis' fortune, which he also wanted for himself. On the night of July 1st, he entered Clarendon's bedroom by the trellis, armed with a derringer, and awaited his return. Clarendon came back from his night work, and while he was pouring himself a glass of wine to celebrate the event, the doctor killed him and used the occasion to take the loot from the last theft, the tiara. During that night, he then went to visit Frances. Knowing perfectly the technique, and thanks to the drugs he administered to her under the pretense of giving her a sedative, he hypnotized her. He ordered her to go into Clarendon's bedroom with the derringer and fire it into the ceiling. With Clarendon removed and Francis getting a death sentence, the fortune of the latter was naturally destined to Loretta. It would have been child's play for the doctor to profit from the mental weakness of Loretta to give him her money. Even more so since Clarendon was no longer there to push her into costly extravagances. If you would please let Lestrade know, I'm sure you'll find the doctor is still in possession of the tiara. Holmes sighs deeply and appears suddenly weary. The spark of energy and interest ignited by Watson's plea for help has all but extinguished. He sits a moment in silence, looking down at his own tattered appearance. No doubt his failure to solve the cabbie's murder preys upon his mind. Finally, he starts towards his room, mumbling, I believe I will clean up now. At the doorway, he whispers, Watson, get me the needle. Well, Holmes solved this case in 5 leads. He went to Halliday's hotel, he went to the Old Bailey, he went to the doctor, he went to Davenport's office, and then he went to Porky Shinwell, who?
That's the best name.
Shinwell is the owner of the Raven and Rat pub. He is a source of information on all illegal fares and underworld figures.
And how did he get told that?
I think it's just so he's an informant. There's like a list of informants.
So Holmes can cheat, is basically what they're saying.
Yeah.
Well, that's bullshit for starters. Trevelyan's motive.
He wants money.
And when was that established, and who's established that? Holmes hasn't established that.
My answer sheet tells me he wants money. It says the first answer is the doctor for the money of Francis and Loretta Nolan. We got 20 points for being hypnotized. We got 20 points for saying Guy Clarendon was the cat burglar, and 20 points for saying the big guy with the scar at the lobby. So they put it in different words. And then we got no points for the rest of it. Which took us to
those other people that Holmes never mentioned because they're nothing to do with this case.
Yeah.
If only we can psychically guess those.
This is what Sherlock Holmes does, though. Like, if you read any of the books, you can't figure out who the murderer was from his clues. It's the stuff that's in his head. It's like, but I also happen to know. But it's not in the book. I think we got very close, all things considered.
So yeah, we did get 60 points, and then we lost 5 because it took Holmes 5 leads and it took us 6 leads.
But he went to somewhere we couldn't go to.
Well, also, I'll give us back our 5.
So yeah, I call bullshit on that. Starting.
We also didn't reject Loretta's mental capacity. We took a much broader view of her as an important and powerful part of society, rather than like writing her off as the other characters in the story have done. So I think we've done an important step for social justice as much as in not solving criminal justice cases.
Yeah. However,
I
yeah,
guess an extra
we
point.
did send her away to get her arrested.
There is that. Yeah,
Well, she had a motive.
but again, yeah, and again, but yeah, we're saying she's mentally competent. That's a good thing.
Yeah, yes, there's a positive spin on this.
I think we've morally won the case, if not legally, and that's a different story.
Well,
you're right, Anjuli. Third time's a charm.
so we got better, and then we got a little bit worse. But
if you're interested, Board Game Geek has a long and furious thread about this particular case and how abysmal it is, how abysmally written and illogically constructed it is, and how the extra questions are plainly a misprint from a different case. And how the designers of this game should be ashamed of themselves. They also point out that Loretta was the culprit in the first edition of the game.
Ah,
That's amazing. You wrote that review really quickly, Mark. I'm impressed.
And another thing.
In that case, doubly morally justified in our conclusions. I feel completely. I feel like we won.
yeah. So I say we got 100 points then, and we may not have beaten him, but we were on par with him. For sure.
I think so. And also, we haven't sulked and gone and just shot up a load of heroin in the back room of our flat yet. So yeah, we're winning in all sorts of important ways.
I like how you said "yet" there.
I mean, I wouldn't want to go crazy, Robbie. You know, there's still time yet in the
Christmas.
oh, sure is. What better Christmas could we have?
My connection's going bad here, guys. I don't know what's happening. But...
Yeah, it's got a bit blurry where you are. We lost Ness as well. I saw in the.
I don't think you missed too much, to be honest.
She's been struggling all day. Too many kids playing on the internet.
But well, that's the end of case 3. Yeah, mystified murderess.
Solved it.
We solved it.
Mystified investigators.
First edition version of it, not the edition where they changed it and it was different.
I don't know how you do it, Mr. Holmes. You're a genius, you are, sir. Right.
God blimey, sir.
Lummy
You're so
irregulars could never magically go to a place we can't go to talk to someone who solves it.
God bless you, Holmes. God bless you.
God bless Piggy Shinwell. And his big book of answers, which he only keeps for elderly gentlemen like Mr. Holmes. Not for us young nippers.
This is always the problem in society, though, isn't it? We just don't have the right connections. And so again, it's not, you know, we've been kept down by the man once again.
It's who you know.
We know the man's name too.
Well,
Excellent.
solved
Thank you, Anjuli.
kind of.
There are. How many more cases are you playing over Christmas, Anjuli?
So this was the last one of the live streams. I did have one in for Wednesday, but that's when I was going to be working Thursday, and now like no one's here. Like everyone's sort of leaving, so it'll just be me trying to solve a case on my own.
Right, find some Londoners. They're all about now.
You'll find one outside your house. They're everywhere.
Get back.
I was going to come, but
I would definitely be interested in picking up one of these cases again later and seeing if one is less mystifying than that.
Yeah, maybe in the new year we can get some more done.
I dangerously thought I was getting close to getting the hang of it.
We're very happy to have you here, nudging us along there, Nick.
No, you know, happy to help.
This has definitely given me an idea for a game where all the villains in London gang up and torture Sherlock Holmes to death. I'm not sure how much I can get out of the gameplay, but it makes me happy to think of it like a reverse Scotland Yard stroke Fury of Dracula type game.
I think if you combine it with, you know, Operation, you've got a game there for sure. You've pulled out a violin from his heart.
Then you stick him with a needle and he's happy, so you balance out.
That sounds perfect. Well, thank you for this. It's been a lovely run up to Christmas game. I'm very happy.
Yes, thank you for hosting.
Yes,
That's
thanks for
quite
doing
nice.
the hard work.
Thank you, Anjuli.
Nice to see all of you. I've not met some of you before. It's very nice too.
Yes, tomorrow we're playing another round of Just One. So if anyone is around tomorrow, wants to play some more Just One, we've got a couple of people from the Asmodee North America group popping in to play in their morning. But yes, thank you all for coming along and for playing Consulting Detective, Sherlock Holmes by Space Cowboys, part of the Asmodee Connect and Play resources that they've made for lockdown. They're free and available online, so do pop along and have a look at what games you can play.
So long.
Christmas. Bye, Richard. Richard is having trouble with his internet, so he is skedaddling as Ness.
It's the Rainbow Bridge with you.
Yes.
And then number 5. Are we not in some kind of meta case here?
Being picked off one by one.
And it's just left with me, the murderer.
That'd be amazing.
Yes, thanks everyone for coming along. Yes, so that is it for today. So we'll go around with those that have not been killed off midstream. Nick, let's go backwards around from you.
Hello, I'm Nick. I'm still alive for now, and until I am not, I shall continue to make our books pretty.
Robbie.
I'm Robbie. I write sci-fi and fantasy, and I've written The Doom of Fallowhearth and First Team for Aconyte. And this hat is getting very itchy. I'm going to take it off now.
Yeah.
There we go.
Stuck with it really well.
Yeah.
Implication.
Marc.
That's not clockwise. I object. I'm Marc. I'm the Aconyte publisher and rules lawyer.
Very upset about this game.
Oh dear. I'm Megan. I write science fiction and fantasy, and I have stories in the Keyforge anthology.
And I am Anjuli, the marketing and publicity manager for Aconyte. Join us tomorrow for some Just One silliness in the afternoon, and then we will see you all again in the new year. But thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you all. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.